this video, we are making Crixa Marshmallow Mochi Cake. Okay, before we get started with mixing our cake, we are going to preheat our oven to 325 degrees and check that we have a rack set to a center or one below center position because we're going to need that later on. And we are ready to go. So I just want to start by showing you the angel food cake pans. This is a standard 10-inch, and over here we have what's actually regarded as a half size, that is a 7-inch angel food cake pan. And the most important thing to look for when you're shopping for an angel food cake pan is that it comes apart like this and that it has legs. So here we have our sweet rice flour and our extra fine sugar. And when I touch these, they have the same consistency. And really the extra fine sugar is better here because they blend so perfectly, because the particle size is so close. We need to blend these together, and there are two ways to do it. One is we can sift them just like this, right? Okay. And I would sift it like this 3 times, back and forth between these two papers. The other way to do it is to take that flour and sugar and put it in a jar or a bucket like this and shake it like this. And I just do that for probably 15 to 30 seconds. And we're ready to go. So these are the ingredients for marshmallow mochi cake. We have egg whites with rose water and vanilla extract, extra fine sugar, and rice flour with extra fine sugar. All right, let's start whipping our egg whites, and they go in the bowl. Let's start on high speed. All right, we're already there. I'm looking for this. It's leaving a trail through the foam that's got a shadow to it, which means it's really increased in volume. Now I'm going to start adding our sugar in on medium speed. I'm going to let this mix until we have soft peaks or slightly shy of soft peaks. And I'll show you when we get there. All right, we're getting closer now. You can see that as the whip is going through the egg whites, it's leaving a thicker trail. And let's just give it a test and see how close we are. So the reason I was whipping on medium speed instead of high is because this goes really quickly and I didn't want to overshoot the whip and over whip the egg whites. So this is what we're looking for. You see how soft that is? And if I turn it over, this. Just a very soft peak. We're going to start adding in our rice flour and sugar mixture. And I'm going to do that on low speed. Just add it in gradually and let the machine stir it in. It does a really good job of making a nice, smooth batter. All right, we almost have all of the rice flour in now. And once I get the last of it in, I'm going to count about 5 or 6 turns. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And now I'm going to take it off the machine and let's have a look at it. Okay, so here's our batter, and I'm just going to give it a few turns by hand. And it does look pretty even. Okay. And we're going to give it a couple more turns with a spatula. And I'm looking for any lumps of dry material or any pools of unincorporated egg white, and it all looks good. And now we're going to get into our pan. And this is the consistency you want. You want to be able to pour it. If it is so stiff, you really have to scoop it out. It's going to make a really high rising cake that will settle a lot. And I think the texture is really not quite as nice. So you see, I just give it a shake and the batter levels out. And we're just going to continue to add the rest of our batter into our pan. Okay, let's see if this will shake in. There we go. All right, and let's see, let's give it a shake. Very nice. Okay, I am going to level it a little bit here just to smooth the top. And it's ready for the oven. Let's get it on in there. Okay, our oven's preheated and let's get the cake in there. All right. And we'll check back in 35 minutes. Okay, our timer just went off, so let's check our cake. And oh boy. Look at our beautiful cake. Oh my goodness. It is so puffy. And what a beautiful color. All right, so our toothpick is nice and clean. This cake is done. And you can see how tall the cake has risen, is well above our legs. So I put down a piece of parchment here because we're going to have to flip it over and it's going to make contact with the surface. Okay, now we let the cake cool until room temperature, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator overnight. So this is our marshmallow mochi cake that's been refrigerated overnight, and as you can see, when I took off the paper, it took off a little skin, which is fine. We are going to depan it, and I have a thin-bladed knife, which is as tall as the pan. If it was a little longer, that would be good, but this is going to work. I'm just going to slide it here between the cake and the pan. I'm going to hold it right up against the pan here and rotate. When you get to these legs, just kind of wiggle around them. And I'm making sure that I'm running all the way to the bottom of the pan. I can feel it there. Okay. Nudge around. All right. I'm going to do a little bit here around the center of the cone. And that should do it. But first, before I flip this, I am going to give it a little dusting of snow sugar. And that's because the surface is sticky. And I don't want it to just glue itself to the plate. All right, that should do it. And let's invert it. Oh, first, here we go. Like this. Okay. I'm going to run my blade first in the bottom here, between the cake and the bottom ring. And I'm going to do the same thing we did with the side. I'm just going to rotate and free the cake from the pan. Okay, around like that. One thing I do want to point out, I'm not just going flat, I am tilting it up. So that as I'm cutting, it's kind of like a razor cutting the cake away from the pan. And now I'll invert it. Here we go. I'm just going to pull up. Yay! There we go. Another little dusting of snow sugar. And that's our marshmallow mochi cake. All right, so let's slice our marshmallow mochi cake. I'm using a serrated knife. So here we have our nice tall slice of marshmallow mochi cake, and I want to show you this. You know you made it right when it jiggles.